Welcome to the another session of geography. We are just going to discuss about key important topics. So what and all you need to understand and what and all is important to occur in this exam. Let's make the session interesting. Let's begin. World climate pattern. It's a long-term trends and average condition of temperature, humidity, wind, precipitation and other atmospheric elements, etc. Different regions on the earth. These patterns are shaped by complex of interaction between one or two or more entities, complex interaction among various components of earth's climate system, and they help us understand why. For example, you think the equator is warm and wet while the poles are cold and dry. Why can the equator be cold and the poles be warm? But the reason is, let me explain about you the key components of it. Solar radiation distribution, and these are the climate system components. Oh, what is solar radiation? Let me show you in a pictorial form so that you can understand well, because we might have already heard about it. More than reading, looking at a picture will make our memory more stronger and help us remember about the long term period. Okay, I will make it too slow. So see this, everything starts with the sun. Solar radiation is the primary source of energy for the earth's climate. However, this energy is not evenly distributed across the planet. The equator receives more direct sunlight. See, this was the equator part. This was equator part. Can you see the line, white line? So this was the pole. So as you move towards this pole, the angle of sunlight becomes more oblique, spreading the same amount of energy over larger area, which make it less intense. This uneven distribution of solar energy creates temperature gradients, which in turn drive much of the climate system. Atmospheric circulation will also play a role in this global climate system. Because of this uneven heating of the Earth's surface, as you see on this previous video, the sun was directly flowing towards the equator, but on the upper area, on this down area which I had showed you, does not have the reflection of sunlight direct, and that is why equator receives more rain when compared to other regions. If we say, for example, Amazon rainforest, why it was called as rainforest? Because Amazon was facing equatorial region which receives direct sunlight, and the area that was becoming warmer receiving rain. Wherever the warm is presented, that means it is in low pressure form. So low pressure means the rain will come. Warm, low pressure, rain. So opposite to it, cold, high pressure. I already told you, this equator wind rises near, creating a low pressure zone. This movement sets up a system of large scale wind patterns, and that is why it is called atmospheric circulation cells. So what are those cells? You need to understand about the cells. There are three types of cells: Hadley cells, Ferrel cells, and polar cells. See, this Hadley cells will be presented in the equator region, and Ferrel cells in mid latitude, and polar cells near the poles. These cells works like a conveyor belt moving warm air poleward and cool air equatorward. Additionally, the rotation of the earth influences wind direction, which is an important point you need to note. This rotation of the earth was influencing the wind direction through the Coriolis effect. Due to Coriolis force, winds are deflected towards right. You should remember that if Coriolis effect was not presented, then it will never move towards right. It is supposed the winds are deflecting rightward rather than moving on straight line. This is why trade winds, westerlies and polar easterlies exist. Now let's see about this ocean current. These ocean currents store and transport a massive amount of heat. Just like atmosphere, they redistribute energy around the planet. So we can classify them into two types: surface current as well as the deep ocean current. What is surface current? Surface current are driven primarily by wind patterns. For example, the Gulf Stream carries warm water from the Gulf of Mexico towards Europe, influencing the climate. Where is Europe? Let me show you. Next point is deep ocean current. This is a part of thermohaline circulation. These are driven by difference in water density which is affected by temperature and salinity. Together these currents form a global system often called the global conveyor belt. What is that? The global system. These currents form as a global system often called the global conveyor belt. This will play a critical role in regulating climate over long periods. Next we'll move towards that what is that? Land atmospheric interaction. So what is land atmospheric interaction? Land surface interact with atmosphere in several ways. Land heats up and cools down faster than water, and gets heats up and cools down faster than water, which creates temperature contrast between land and ocean. These contrasts are key driver of phenomena like monsoons. Vegetation also affects climates by influencing evaporation, transpiration, and the reflection of sunlight. What is the reflection of sunlight? The reflection of sunlight is also known as albedo. For example, this forest release moisture into the air and contribute to cloud formation. I will later explain you about how the clouds is forming and also how deserts are formed. So, while desert reflect more sunlight and retain less heat. The nature of land cover, whether it's forest, grasslands, desert or urban area, changes how energy and moisture are exchanged between the land and the atmosphere. For land atmospheric interaction, I think these are the important points. Then what is planetary force? Planetary force is nothing delta, I told you before. This is Coriolis forces. Okay, these are influencer of long-term patterns. Let me show you another picture. See, can you look at this picture which I showed you earlier? This earth was in a tilted form, eggshell tilt. Can you see this? Earth is in a round shape, but the form was not in straight. It will be slightly tilted like this, not too lengthy, not too extendable. It's slight. Just see, 23.5 degree. Earth tilt and orbit, we will call it as Milankovitch cycle. That affect how much solar radiation reaches different part of the earth during different seasons. These variation are linked to ice ages and warm periods in the earth history. So volcanic eruption is also one of the important point you need to be noted here. They can inject particles into the atmosphere that reflects sunlight, temporarily cooling the planet. I will show you the eruption of volcanic activity. Plate tectonics means it influences ocean circulation patterns and the portions of continents, which affects climate on a geological time scale. It was not mentioned in this key climate system components. Human activities are also plays a part of this climate pattern, because we had heard about that greenhouse gases, correct? So human activities, especially what happened it caused to release the greenhouse gases, which have major role in planetary force in recent time. This alters the natural balance of the climate system. That's all about this key climate system components. Global climate classification. This and all you can read through this itself, because this does not need much of the explanation. Tropical climate zones are nothing but they will be fall around 0 degree, 23.5 degree latitude. What is latitude and longitude? See, lat means you imagine, wait, I will show you. See, I had opened this video in order to show you what is latitude and longitude. Imagine a man was standing in this position, west to east direction. His head was here, his leg was here. Okay, so he is stretching the two hands. The one hand right side was here and another hand left side was here. Okay, so imagine this was latitude. Latitude means in a gym and all they will say lat exercise. You can imagine like that. This was latitude. A man who stretched the shoulder to north and southwards is called latitude. And what is longitude? The equatorial region, where you can see here. Okay, this was longitude. So from west to east, longitude. You can remember it as bel, B-E-L. West to east, longitude. So then how can we remember latitude? The simple, nothing other than else. You can remember it as the man standing and he's stretching his hands to north and south. So yeah, let me explain about this tropical in short form. TCZ, tropical climate zone. They will have high temperature year around, but low temperature variation will happen throughout the year. In which area? The tropical region. But there will also exist high solar radiation because the sun is often directly heard about the tropic of Capricorn, tropic of Cancer. They are in between, equator will be presented around them. Okay, so they will be surrounding it. That is why I told you previously, sun is often directly towards them. High humidity and precipitation, especially in areas like equatorial belt. Again, I am saying, previously I had told you regarding the rain region, where there is warm and direct sunlight present, there would also more rain will be presented. So as example, I had told you Amazon rainforest present in Congo all throughout the years. Why you should remember it as Amazon rainforest, which they had already named it. Tropical monsoon and savanna climates have a distinct wet and dry season. So wet and dry season may also occur. Why this happens? Have you ever imagined for what reason and for what purpose it is happening? Yes, intertropical convergence zone, ITCZ. These are the area where trade winds from both hemispheres, that is above equator northern hemisphere, will be presented, and below equator southern hemisphere will be presented. This is normal northern hemisphere area, and this is southern hemisphere area. Okay, so these constantly rising warm air leading to cloud formation and rainfall. So warm ocean currents also feed moisture into the atmosphere. This is one of the point you need to be noted on. Okay. Now next we'll come to this temperate climate zone. Between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in northern hemisphere, and between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle, the southern hemisphere. So I had already told you, no, the air will be above the equator, Tropic of Cancer, and this was Arctic Circle, and below the equator this was Capricorn, and this will be what? Antarctic Circle. So southern hemisphere you can remember as can you remember as can means what? Cancer, CAN, but also Arctic, A for Arctic and N for northern. Can you remember it as can? Tropic of Cancer, Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. What? CAS, can and CAS. What is mean CAS? CAS means cap. The cap has CAS. Okay, the cap has CAS. Like the Capricorn, cap means Capricorn. Cap has CAS. Okay, that means A for Antarctic and S for southern. C for Capricorn. Cap. Why is cap I had mentioned? Because you need to remember that Cancer and Capricorn had contained the word C. So in order to make you remember, I told you it as cap. Cap means CAS. The cap has CAS. So what are their climate characteristics? They will be presented moderate temperature with 4 distinct seasons. What are those 4 distinct seasons? Spring, summer, autumn and winter. Greater temperature variation than tropical regions. This summer can be warm to hot, while winters can be cold to cold. Moderate precipitation which can occur year round or seasonal depending on location. What are the subregions? Maritime temperate zones, example Western Europe, have milder winters and more rainfall. Continental temperate zones, central US, examples we can say, and interior Asia experience more extreme temperature. Why this happens? This region lie in the Feral cell dominated by westerly winds. You don't need to be worried about it, and whatever is given to you, you can see side by side and listen to this lesson, so no problem. Okay, so don't worry. The contrast between the warm and cold air masses often cause frontal system and storm. So let's come to this polar climate zone. See here, can you see the picture? So north of the Arctic Circle and south of the Antarctic Circle, that is above 66.5 degree temperature, often below freezing for the most of the year. Long, harsh winters, and there are also short and cool summers. So low precipitation will occur mostly in the form of snow rain. Okay, technically snow rain means it's a polar desert, and low solar radiation will be there. So we cannot completely come to the point that the solar radiation won't get occurred. Okay, no living thing can live without sunlight. So it was a basic thing we need to know. So solar radiation does occur, okay, especially during winter month when the sun does not rise above the horizon. What are those unique features of this polar? Permafrost, permanently frozen ground, is common there. Ice caps and glaciers dominates much of the landscape. Sea ice forms and melts seasonally. Why this happens? Because the sun rays hit the surface at very low angle, spreading out energy over a larger area. So these polar cells create high pressure zone with sinking cold air, leading to dry and stable condition. And I will give you the summary of the explanation regarding this tropical temperate polar, so that you will be easily able to memorize and recollect during the exam time. Indian climate pattern topic. We are going to see what is Indian monsoon system. So let's go through it. One of the most important and complex climate phenomena affecting the South Asia, especially our India. The monsoon influences what and all agricultural, water resources, and as well as this overall economy. Okay, we will explore both the southwest and northeast monsoon regional climate variation across different part of India, as well as we will also explore here seasonal phases and the impact of global climate phenomena like El Nino, La Nina, Enso, and the Indian Ocean dipole. Okay. So now let's first discuss about Indian monsoon system. It refers to seasonal reversal of winds due to differential heating of land and sea. So what is southwest monsoon? This is the main rainy season in India, account for about 75 of the total annual rainfall. So why it is happens? During summer, the Indian subcontinent heats up rapidly, creating a low pressure zone over the land. Meanwhile, the Indian Ocean remains relatively cooler, creating a high pressure zone. Moist winds from the Indian Ocean are pulled towards the low pressure area over the land. Can you see why this arrow mark was focusing towards right? Because of Coriolis force. So the wind splits into two branches: Arabian Sea branch, Bay of Bengal branch. What is Arabian Sea branch? It's the western Ghats and cause heavy rains on the windward side. Say example Kerala, Karnataka, Konkan coast. Okay. What is the Bay of Bengal branch? Now it moved towards the northeast, hitting the Himalayas and giving rain to the northeast states. Say what are all the northeast states? Bihar, West Bengal, and later the Indo-Gangetic plain. Okay. Northeast monsoon. It occurs between October to December, while southwest monsoon occurs between June to September. This northeast monsoon occurs between October to December. So it is also known as retreating monsoon or winter monsoon. And again, it is happening due to the land being so cool faster than the ocean, reversing the pressure pattern. So what is reversing the pressure pattern? Yeah, this winds blows from the land to the sea, which are dry. However, when they cross the Bay of Bengal, they pick up moisture and bring rain to southeastern India, especially what not southeastern India. Southeastern India, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and another country we can say of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is near the borders of Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu is India, Sri Lanka is another country. So what are the seasonal phases of Indian climate? What are the seasonal phases? Winter, monsoon will not come, I think. Where it is? Winter, summer. Here it is. So winter is nothing but a cool, dry winds from the north, snowfall in the Himalayas, mild temperature in southern India. Then what is pre-monsoon or summer? It occurs in March and May, while winter occurs in January and February. This pre-monsoon or summer occurs in March and May. What is March and May? What will happen? Intense heat over northern India will occur. Dust storms, heat waves. In example, we say in Rajasthan and Delhi. Formation of low pressure over northwest India. What is southwest monsoon? This southwest monsoon is June to September. It will happen. Okay, there will be heavy rainfall across the country, especially in western and northeastern parts. Key season of agricultural we can say as that's kharif crops. So what and all curriculum we will discuss on this another session. So post monsoon will happen between October to December. So what will be the entities will happen there? So gradual withdrawal of monsoon, rainfall in southeast coast due to northeast monsoon, cooler temperature begins, and so. And overall, regional climate variation in India will discuss about in brief. Western coastal plains, Konkan, Malabar, Karnataka coast are all western coastal plains. There will be heavy rainfall due to the Arabian Sea branch, one of the wettest region in India. Example, Mausinram, Cherrapunji in nearby Meghalaya. There will be short dry season. Indo-Gangetic plain, Punjab to West Bengal, say hot summers and cold winters will occur. Good rainfall during southwest monsoon. Due to this, the fertile land ideal for both kharif and rabi crop. That means rice, wheat, maize, paddy. Okay. Northwestern arid zone. When we come to northwestern arid zone, it will be mostly occur in Rajasthan and Gujarat. So there will be very low rainfall. We know desert are present in Rajasthan, correct? Where will be Rajasthan? This will be Gujarat. Okay, Gujarat borders Pakistan and western Ghats side. This will be Gujarat. Very low rainfall, desert climate will occur, and what and all we can say high temperature variation between day and night. Sandstorms are much common here because desert area. So what about Himalayan region? Himalayan region will be presented here. Himalayan region, cold climate and heavy snowfall in winter will occur, and what and all we can say rain shadow areas like Ladakh are dry only. Some area gets heavy monsoon also, say such as eastern Himalayas. Peninsular plateau, so we call it as Deccan Plateau and central India. So there will be moderate rainfall. The rain mainly from the Bay of Bengal branch. It receives less rain compared to coastal region because rain shadow effect will be as interior Maharashtra or the Telangana. What about next global climate phenomenon affecting the Indian monsoon? The El Nino was warm phase of ENSO, unusual warming of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean. We are talking about El Nino warm phase of ENSO. This will weaken monsoon winds, so often leading to drought or below normal rainfall in India. So what is La Nina? La Nina or cool phase of ENSO. So unusual cooling of the Pacific Ocean will be unusual cooling. This will strengthen the monsoon circulation. So when monsoon circulation was getting strengthened, there will be above normal rainfall in India. So what is ENSO? ENSO is a coupled of ocean atmosphere phenomenon involving pressure changes and sea surface temperature. And what and all it will include, we can see it as both El Nino and La Nina passes. So what is Indian Ocean dipole? Indian Ocean dipole is nothing but the temperature difference between Western and Eastern Indian Ocean. So Indian Ocean dipole can be classified as two types. What are they? They are all positive IOD and negative IOD. What is positive IOD? Positive IOD is nothing other than else warmer Western Indian Ocean. This will bring more rainfall to India. So oppositely, negative IOD means warmer Eastern Indian Ocean. Recollect some important aspect we had discussed in this chapter. This Indian monsoon system is controlled by water, land, sea temperature, contrast, pressure system and global ocean atmosphere interaction. So next we had discussed about southwest monsoon. It brings bulk of India's rainfall. And what is southwest monsoon? Northeast monsoon. Northeast monsoon mainly affect the southern eastern coast. Regional variation exist due to what? Topographic and wind patterns. So what are the global events we had discussed previously? El Nino, La Nina, ENSO and IOD influence in the intensity and distribution of monsoon rains. Moreover, this understanding part is important for your geographical subject. So let's move on to climate system connection. Atmosphere, land, surface, oceanic circulation. Okay, a complex interconnected system that governs Earth's climate. So it involves interaction between different components of the Earth and various physical and chemical processes that regulate temperature, precipitation, winds, and long-term climate change. What are climate system connection? Well, let us understand about it. This climate system works as a network of interconnected subsystem driven mainly solar energy. Solar energy means this energy is observed, reflected, stored, and transferred through various processes within and between different components. These primary climate system components we can see as atmosphere. Let me show you. Atmosphere. These are layer of gases surrounding the Earth. It plays an important role in energy transfer through radiation convection. Involved in weather, climate, cloud formation, green gas trapping. These are all those important topics you can memorize and you can understand about it. Nothing more, nothing less. We don't need so much of content. Just we need to understand the concept. Hydrosphere, all liquid water like ocean, rivers, and lakes. We are always telling this ocean acidification. Ocean was acidified. The coral reef was bleached. It was dangerous to the ocean. If ocean affected, our Earth will also get affected. So everything was interconnected because these are all environment that surrounds the Earth, and we live in that environment. Does some negativity to the environment and positivity to the environment, and that environment will give us return the same. Hydrosphere is a key player in evaporation, precipitation, and global water cycle. Cryosphere is frozen parts of the earth. Glaciers, ice cap, sea, ice permafrost. These are high albedo, the reflection of the sun. So high albedo reflects the solar radiation cooling the earth, influence sea level rise. When we come to this geosphere, we might also call it as lithosphere. Earth solid surface, rocks, mountains, landforms, and all. It does affects climate through volcanic activity, mountain uplift, and soil property. Landform influence this wind patterns and precipitation, rain condition. Biosphere. We will also meanwhile learn here about biosphere. It is nothing but all living organism, especially vegetation. So plants affects climates through transpiration, carbon storage, and albedo change. Human activities is also one of the form of biosphere. Example, deforestation. These also influence climate. What is deforestation, afforestation, and reforestation? Afforestation, the area which was plain and there grows a tree, which is a primary succession. You will learn in environment. Deforestation, we are cutting down the trees. Reforestation, we are doing the cut down trees. That is where the deforestation was done. There will be reforestation will happen. This energy exchange or solar radiation is observed, reflected, or it re-emitted by different surfaces, say atmosphere, land, and ocean absorbs this heat differently. The concept here is the greenhouse gas traps some of this energy, warming the planet. Mass transfer amount of water, carbon, aerosol, and gases between air, land, and ocean. Say it as water vapor from ocean moves to land and precipitates as rain. Momentum exchange. We can see this momentum exchange is a transfer of kinetic energy between atmosphere and ocean. Example: wind drive ocean current. Air sea interaction influence storm system and monsoon. Climate exchange, gases like CO2 and ocean absorb carbon dioxide. This process is we called atmospheric CO2 level. Okay, I will provide you the PDF with this picture so you don't worry. This atmospheric ocean coupling, a crucial driver of global climate. This example say ENSO. ENSO means El Nino Southern Oscillation. Ocean temperature affect atmospheric pressure and wind patterns and vice versa. Land surface process, vegetation, soil, moisture and surface albedo impact energy balance as well as local climates. Forest add humidity through evapotranspiration, influencing rainfall. Oceanic circulation transfers heat from the equator towards the pole. Currents like the Gulf Stream affect regional climate. Deep ocean currents, thermohaline circulation play a long-term role in this climate regulation. This albedo is the important concept. Is one of the important concepts. These are the fraction of solar energy reflected by surface, as we discussed before. Snow and ice have high albedo, that is cooling effect. Direct surface like ocean or forest have low albedo, absorb more heat. Water vapor, these are most abundant greenhouse gas. This warmer air holds more water vapor, which traps more heat, a positive feedback loop. Vegetation and climate afforestation. Each forest increases humidity and cloud cover. The deforestation reduces evapotranspiration, can reduce the rainfall and increase temperature. Milankovitch cycle, long-term changes in Earth's orbit and axial tilt affect climate over thousands of years. So these cycles contribute to natural glaciers and interglacial period is what you need to understand. Then we'll talk about the long-term climate changes. Over millions of years has changed due to the plate tectonics, volcanic activity, Milankovitch cycle and changes in solar output. Today, human activity mainly burning fossil fuels. Okay, the atmosphere, hydrosphere, cryosphere, geosphere and biosphere all interact through process like what? Energy exchange, mass transfer, momentum exchange and climate exchange. External factors like solar radiation and internal feedback, as you see water vapor albedo, such as this will influence it. Understanding these connections help us better predict climate behavior and prepare for future changes. So, wind pattern and phenomena. Global wind belt characteristics. These are the earth wind system form in large belt due to uneven heating from the sun and the earth rotation. These wind belts are symmetrical about the equator, even by atmospheric circulation cells. What are the atmospheric circulation cells we had discussed before? Hadley, Ferrel, Polar. These are the three types of. It's also affected by pressure zones. What are pressure zones? Low pressure zones at the equator, high pressure zone at the tropics, and low again at subpolar latitudes. These are the three major wind belts in each hemisphere. Trade winds are 0 degree to 30 degree latitude, blow from east to west, northeast in the northern hemisphere, southeast in the southern hemisphere. Between the equator and subtropical highs 30 degree north and 30 degree south. This forms due to the Hadley's circulation. So it's important for tropical climate systems and yearly sea navigation. It brings moisture air towards the equator, helping the tropical rainforest. Westerly is this 30 degrees Celsius to 60 degree latitude. They blow from west to east, and when we say for trade winds it Hadley cells and for westerly is Ferrel cell region, responsible for most of the weather pattern in temperate region. Example, we can say Russia, US and Europe. It carry storms and air masses across continents. When we come to this polar easterlies, they are 60 degree to 90 degree latitude. Polar easterlies, where polar westerlies, trade winds, or easterlies, polar cell, and there will be a weak and variable due to low solar energy. Jet stream, high latitude wind reverse. This is polar jet stream and subtropical jet stream. So what is jet stream? Jet stream or fast moving ribbon of air high in upper atmosphere. It will be around 9 to 16 kilometer altitude. Polar jet stream is found near the boundary of polar and feral cells. They are strongest in winter. Okay, so these guides weather system and separates cold polar air from warmer mid latitude air. Subtropical jet stream. It is located near 30-degree latitude at the boundary of what Hadley cell and feral cell. Weaker than what polar jet. Affect storm tracks and monsoon circulation. Borealis effect and wind deflect caused by earth rotation. It causes moving air and water to deflect. The effect shapes global wind patterns, causing straight moving earth to curve and forms trade winds, westerlies and easterlies. Without this Coriolis effect, wind would move directly from high to low pressure. Instead, they are curved and form the global wind belts. Desert formation, wind driven aridity. Desert forms due to lack of precipitation. These are often influenced by wind patterns. Tropical high pressure desert located near 30-degree north and 30-degree south. The Sahara, Arabian and Australian desert. High pressure desert. Okay, think about this refrigerator. In the refrigerator, you are keeping it in a liquid form, in a form of shape. Need to become a solid. In freezer, it will always be cold. Cold is nothing but high pressure. Subtropical high pressure desert located near 30-degree north and south. So Hadley cells will create dry high pressure zones. The rain will not occur. So that means it will clear sky and dry condition will dominate there. But when we come to rain shadow desert, they are found in leeward side of the mountain. Okay, moist air rises and cools on wind side, so rains will occur. Dry air is always descendants on leeward side, causing arid condition. Example: Thar Desert and Atacama Desert. Continental interior desert, far from ocean or moisture sources. Air loses moisture before reaching this area. Gobi Desert. Low humidity and high humidity ranges will be presented there. Cold ocean current press evaporation and cloud formation. Moisture laden winds are stable and they don't rise to form rain. Example: Namib Desert. Wind speed classification effects. U4 scale classifies wind strength based on observed condition at sea or land. It ranges from 0 means calm, to 12 means hurricane. 0 means, as we discussed, calm. The effect on land will be the smoke rises vertically. But in between those 0 to 12, 1 to 3 means are light winds that leaves a rustle, winds felt. 4 to 5 means what? Small branches move, rises loose paper. And 6 to 7 means large branches move, walking is become difficult to us. 8 to 9 means quick break progress against wind is hard. 0 calm to 12 hurricane is what I think important. In between, I did not found this more important in exam, so I never made any notes on it. I would not like to explain you regarding this without knowing much about it. But I had learned that Beaufort scale was a 0 calm to 12 hurricane, and that's enough, I think so. If you want to read, I will give the table. You can read. Let's discuss about the light winds. Light winds are 1 to 3. 0 is calm and 12 is hurricane. So that is wind 1 to 3 is in Beaufort. It was light winds. It's gentle and barely move objects. It's common in not night but early morning or sheltered areas. On this another side, there is strong winds. Beaufort was 6 plus. This you can note it down. Disrupts outdoor activities and it can cause property damage, and the common thing, it influences fire behavior or air travel.
So next wind. Okay, these are the pictures.
Shall we summarize this? This global wind belt shaped by solar heating and earth rotation create major air circulation system. What is major air circulation system? You can see in the display trade winds, westerlies, polar easterlies. These influence these jet streams which guide weather system. The Coriolis effect curves wind paths, and together with topography and ocean currents, it leads to the formation of various desert types. So this wind speed is measured by, as we discussed at last, the Beaufort scale, which helps describe both daily weather and extreme wind condition. Understanding this system is essential. You also need to request you to recollect everything what we had studied. Shall we move on to this climate quiz?